Right, good morning. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Let me acknowledge our Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi. I also acknowledge our Deputy Minister Andries Nel. I'm really pleased to welcome you, to be welcomed and have this opportunity to speak to you as you welcome me into this critical organization. I'm really pleased to join the team. And as the Minister indicated, at the time when the criminal justice system requires even more support from us. As the Minister indicated that we are at peace in the justice system, we have to understand and comprehend all aspects of the criminal value chain, which of course includes prosecution as a critical part. And I'm saying deliberately it's a critical part because really that's where the impact lies. And we have to make sure that that impact is well defined. And as the Minister indicates, I'll come back to that point, that it is our shareholders, the public, that must tell us that we are doing the work, that they feel safe, and that our work is making positive impact in their life. As I commence to be part of the team, I will engage with the executive management and, of course, wider management in determining the priorities. I've had the opportunity to go through the strategic plan. I'll still go through some other plans, but the strategic plan that you as the leadership team and as a team worked on, 2025-2030 strategic plan, which identifies strategies, initiatives, and priority focus areas. Amongst others, and I will not go through them in detail, there will still be an opportunity to engage and re-engage on those. But I've noted that you have really indicated as a focus area, fast-tracking apartheid, era crime, Truth and Reconciliation Commission cases, which the Minister touched on, enhancing professional and ethical prosecution service. The Minister has repeatedly indicated that he expects an ethical organization, and I'll return to that point. And in this regard, it's really just my view as we support this area of enhancing professional and ethical prosecution, the issue around integrity checks are non-negotiable. The lifestyle audits that Minister refers to are but one of the critical areas that we will need to really ensure that we embark on. One of the areas that I've noticed is that you've prioritized strengthening organizational performance through skills development. It's very, very critical that we are seen as a high-performing organization. And of course, there are building blocks towards that, and we'll talk about that. You have also itemized enhancing the fight against complex crime and corruption. Agreed that there's a lot of work that we need to do as a team to ensure that we really enhance the fight against complex crime and corruption. I've also realized that you have focused on IDEC's Digital Evidence Unit. That's one of the other critical areas that will support our work. I'm very familiar with the digital Advocate Johnson. The digital work is very critical in supporting our work. The gadgets that you see, we need to make sure that they are well assessed, properly looked at, so that you extract credible evidence that can withstand the test in any court. So you have also identified combating complex corruption and organized crime in South Africa. Well, you call it South Africa Project. In this regard, of course, I've noted that you need to enhance the capability of prosecution, of prosecutors, investigators, AFU lawyers, and those that are supporting the initiative. That's very critical, and we have to support that. There's also an area which you've itemized, which is the strategic prosecution of organized crime. As you know, as part of the Justice, Crime, Prevention and Safety Cluster, this area has been prioritized. In the last few days, for those who are attending JCPS on behalf of NPA, we have been hard at work as JCPS, handing over to or reporting over to the JCPS of ministers so that they can present the prevention of organized crime to the Cabinet Lekgotla. So we need to support that. And I've noted, which is indeed the case, that often we are accused across institutions that we are looking at the sort of the lower end of the criminal actors. I've read in the strategy that you want to focus on prosecuting the kingpins as well as transnational organized crime, criminal markets such as extortion at construction sites. And you know that these are some of the pain points of the public. Extortion at construction sites, damage to infrastructure, which we have seen that it goes to an extent of even discouraging investments. Illicit mining, and of course, cybercrime. We know that these days, criminals have converged in the cyberspace. So we need to really up the game and step up in that regard. There's an expectation for Asset Forfeiture Unit to conduct financial investigations and to also necessary the work with regard to money laundering charges and to identify proceeds of instrumentalities used in the commission of crime and thus ensure that we comply with FATF requirements. I was pleased to see that that's the area that also is going to receive a lot more attention. Again, led by National Treasury, of course with the FIC, supported by all of us. We are heading towards a stage where there's going to be a FATF review, so we must make sure that we support that area. And the expectation this time round is that the focus is going to be on prosecution and convictions. So we are aware of that. In this regard, we will also consider the outcomes of Priority 2 of the G20 Anti-Corruption Working Group, which dealt with the improvement of asset recovery and asset management. So that area will support us as we move forward. I'm almost at the end of the priorities. I said I'll not mention all of them, because I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to engage and re-engage. But the other one is the implementation of proactive communication strategy. I really appreciated that, because colleagues, we can do our work, but if we don't communicate to the public the successes and the work that we do, it will not really be as impactful as we would like them to do. There is communication. I mean, I've really been following your work. There's communication that you do nationally and provincially. We need to sort of step up and just ensure that we harness it such that it gives us the impact that we look for. We have to up our game here to ensure that the work of NPA and its successes are communicated to the public. But of course, the communication also has to be stepped up internally as well. I'm a firm believer that you communicate first effectively at home before you communicate outside. So we'll have to make sure that we jack up the communication machinery. And I'm sure it exists. I'll really have to engage and re-engage and really share my views. Of course, the one area that we've itemized as well is the financial and operational independence of the NPA. I look forward to that. This is one of the key initiatives. So the last few ones really is the expand the impact of community prosecutions. I was really quite attracted to this initiative. I would like to see us really reaching out to the communities that we serve. Entrenched digitization and implementation of electronic case management. In this regard, of course, we look at the integrated justice system. That is part of the integrated justice work. And of course, make sure that our part of the value chain is really looked at. And I looked at the issue about digitizing case outcomes, digital dockets, and all of that. And then there's a item regarding the artificial intelligence. Where I come from, there's various of these aspects. Of course, the artificial intelligence becomes one of them. As you know, the world over, we are all rattled by criminals using the cyberspace and artificial intelligence and so on. But we need to use it such that we are a step ahead. In this regard, and we'll work together to ensure that we identify all of those processes that could be subject to artificial intelligence as we advance our work. So colleagues, those are the areas that I've looked at, and I think they're really quite accurate. And I've also looked at the APP because that's really where the rubber hits the tarmac in terms of implementing all of this. So, as I come in, the philosophy that has followed me all over where I've been is that we need to look at really three major things. People are a great asset to an organization. And in that regard, the people management framework, I'll be interested really to see how it works and how it delivers to the NPA family. People, that's one. Processes, we need to define our processes such that they are able to enable us to deliver in all of our areas of work. And the third one is systems. People, process, systems. I still have a serious hangover as the operational risk manager. And we know that as we look at our operations, if we don't make sure that people, process, systems are looked at, we're likely to fall as an organization. And we will have to unpack all of those to ensure that they're really supporting our strategy. Of course, a related aspect is the finance budget that supports all of that. So all of this should help us to deliver on all of those identified priorities. And as we engage and re-engage, there's going to be a view at some point whether there's a need to organize, reconfigure, and so on. And that we will do together in ensuring that we really increase and improve the capacity of NPA. Now, The immediate priorities, and Minister alluded to some of this, and we will again, as I say, I'm a firm believer in engagement and re-engagement and coming out with a plan that we all can own and execute. Support to the task team that President directed to be formed by the Minister of Police, of course reporting to the National Commissioner. That came from the report that the President has accepted. We are going to have to work hard to support the task team. Of course, the expectation on our side is that once the task team has done its work, investigated, we need to ensure that they bring to us dockets with credible evidence in it such that you can present those to court in a successful manner that delivers convictions. We need to define prosecutorial support in a form that would lend itself to prosecutor-led investigations, I would assume. Implementation of state capture report. This has been ongoing. Where I come from, we were part of the team or the committee that's chaired by DG in the presidency, from time to time, just really going through the state capture report implementation. And I'm aware that there's a lot of work that has been done by the NPA in particular, IDEC, in enrolling some of the cases that came out of that report. And really we look forward to more enrollments, as the NDPP indicated publicly. GBV, that's the area that has attracted the public so much that it has been declared a national disaster. So what is it that SNPA we're doing to respond to this national disaster in a manner that would assist in really prosecuting those related cases? APP finalization and submission. As I said, I've gone through the APP quite in detail. Still to go through it, of course. I've noticed the targets, and Minister, I do agree that I come in an organization that has really been on an improvement trajectory, and I really am pleased to be part of that. We will really, and I will come in and be part of the team and ensure that we propel it forward in that improvement trajectory. I've seen some of the targets, though, that anticipate that there's going to be a flat performance over the years, which do not increase. And I'm sure we can engage and get the rationale around flat performance over the years, right? So as we step up, right? So we'll talk about that. And the high-risk areas, the risk management. Risk management is a very critical part. You can define all the objectives, deliverables, and so on, but if you don't deal with the risks appropriately, they're likely to really affect our objectives negatively. I've noted some, in some of the documents that you have prepared, key issues relating to forensic delays, digital evidence capacity, backlogs, and all of that. Prosecutor safety, Minister comes over, and I will ensure that we look at that. Civil litigation exposure, again, I indicated around people issues, the people management framework. There's vacancies that we need to look at. I've looked at also at the vacancy rate, which we need to look at. Of course, look at the recruitment to ensure that we fill the positions, look at the retention strategy, and of course, the makeup of the remuneration framework. How does it look like? Of course, the improvement of the communication strategy I've mentioned. Now, having considered the APP, which is the annual performance plan, colleagues, we are going to require an execution plan, and I'm sure it's probably there. Execution. That's what defines, the work. The minister has really indicated that when we fold our sleeves in support of the teams, we really make sure that it's the intention to execute. none other than intention to execute. So in this regard, I'll have to look at the other plans, divisional execution plans that you have, and individual performance plans, and of course, the monitoring, and how is it that we monitor and review the performance over time at all levels of the organization. So we will communicate the plans in this regard, and I indicated that we are part of the JCPS. I'm not going to repeat that. I'll have to understand the portfolio committee invites, of course, through the minister's office, as we are called from time to time. Stakeholder relations. It's going to be a very critical part. Internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. There's a process that we have really implemented where I am from, SIU, in terms of ensuring that we from time to time tap into the stakeholders out there that we serve, and they give us their views and unadulterated view in terms of our performance. Integrity program. Colleagues, we need to ensure that we focus on that. The issue of lifestyle audits, Minister can confirm, at least speak on without their permission, because I'm no longer there now. But where I come from, we've started. The lifestyle audits are signed off in December so that they kick off, focusing on the leadership, senior management, and other critical areas in the organization. They will be able to report to you, Minister. I've looked at the handover report draft, which, by the way, I had a one-on-one with the NDPP. It was really a pleasing moment. Then I looked at the draft handover report. She did indicate that she'll, give us the final one. I look forward to that. So I took some of the anecdotes from the minister. It's for our stakeholders to tell us that we are doing our work. And I've always used this, corporate analogy. And it really applies to us as well. Shareholder value. We have to unpack what shareholder value looks like for NPA, right? And I'm sure you all can relate to that, right? Our shareholders, first and foremost, are the public. Of course, we've got public representatives in amongst others in Parliament that from time to time we report to. We've got our executive authority, which is the minister, and of course, ultimately ensuring that that shareholder value continues, and we'll have to unpack that. Colleagues, we have to guard our reputation jealously. The article that the minister shared with me, it's an article that seems to allege that there has been interference by the prosecutor, in the work of the police or in the arrest and so on. But I'll still look at that, Minister, and just really give you a report. So, colleagues, as I close, there's a premium that I really put on teamwork. I really put premium on teamwork. When you come to me, don't expect any other thing except to say, how is it that we improve this organization? Your division, the work that we all do. You are not going to get anything else from me, but to ensure that the work of this organization is advanced. I put premium on execution. As I said, we can have all the plans and so on, but if execution lacks, we can forget it, right? And of course, let's all put premium on the impact of our work. The impact of our work is very critical, and we will work together in terms of saying what that impact looks like. I've noted some of the comments, Minister, and thank you. Thank you very much for those. And I assure you, Minister, that I will work really hard to ensure that the team works and delivers on its mandate. I've looked at some of the recent pronouncements which are really showing that if we put our shoulder to the wheel, really we can produce results. the appeal against the Nulani case. Well done on that. I've seen some of the anecdotes from the asbestos case in the Free State. I've seen that there's a positive outcome, but there's a but. So we'll need to see the impact of that case. There was some pronouncements around some extraditions and so on. So I'll need to sort of just come in and understand what the impact of that is. So really, without indicating, the Zondo Commission I've mentioned, Madlanga Commission, all of those commissions, Minister, I've really noted that. And indeed, I've also really said to Advocate Batoy, thank you very much, really, for the effort that you have put for all the years you have been here with the team. We come in and ensure that we propel the organization forward. And I've noted, Minister, accountability, that we will be all held to account. But at times when we really want to all be held to account, you don't really understand. We need to be held as an organization and individually to account, right? Minister, we will ensure that as you look forward to ethical, excelling organization, we deliver on that in ensuring that we bring justice to our people. Yeah, I may have exceeded my time limit with a few minutes, but I really wanted to speak as I did, amongst others from the heart. I really look forward. There's familiar faces that I can see in the room. I really look forward to working with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.